Alrighty, so Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 6 to 7 days away from its official release by Disney, Lucasfilm, and a lot of fans around the world have mixed feelings and thoughts before they go ahead and see this movie based on what they have heard and seen. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future content. Now, one thing about Episode 9, as I've expressed before in the past, that this movie really does determine the future of the franchise and where things will stand, depending on how, of course, Disney and Lucasfilm handle the very end of the Skywalker saga and how it's going to perform at the box office. Now, we have been going over the leaks about the very ending of Episode 9. A lot of fans out there, including myself, am really not all that satisfied with the way how certain aspects of the movie are going to end, and how it seems like poor writing by J.J. Abrams, at least in my eyes, if I really want to be honest. So, with that being said, J.J. Abrams today, you guys may have actually seen him. He was actually on some radio show where he was talking about the Rise of Skywalker. They were asking him all sorts of different questions, and all the questions that he was able to answer actually confirms many of the leaks for the ending of Episode 9, and also a Swedish movie theater chain, which we're going to go over in just a second. Now, J.J. Abrams actually stated that there is a kiss in this movie. In fact, there are probably several kiss scenes in The Rise of Skywalker. And not just that, the Swedish movie theater chain actually spoiled a part of the ending of Episode 9, confirming the leaks further. Basically, if you translate it, it goes as a warning towards kids that there is going to be a moment in the film in which a scary man sucks the life force out of people. And they also warned others for, things that could initiate seizures, such as flashing lights, which also lines directly up with Palpatine's Force Storm. So, this all lines directly up with this, where a sequence in which it's explained that both Rey and Kylo Ren are said to both confront Emperor Palpatine inside of his throne room, where they both ignite Leia and Anakin's lightsabers to face the Sith Lord. Now, this is where it's said that Palpatine begins to shoot Force lightning at both Rey and Ben Solo, where they are both able to block the lightning by use of their lightsabers. This is said to lead to a moment in which eventually Palpatine begins to suck the life force out of both Rey and Ben Solo, where this begins to the point where they are both unable to stand up on their own 2 feet and appear lethargic and out of breath, where Palpatine unleashed the overwhelming power and creates a force storm against the Resistance and other ships affiliated with the First Order, and that are now a part of the Final Order. It's said that as this happens, Ben Solo begins to get up and grabs his mother's lightsaber and ignites it and gets Palpatine's attention, where this is where Palpatine tells Ben Solo where this will be the final word and the story of Skywalker, where Palpatine shoots lightning at Ben Solo, throwing him into a bottomless pit. Now that Rey is alone, she begins to hear the Force Ghost voices of the past of fan-favorite characters, including Luke Skywalker telling Rey, 1,000 generations live in you now, where Rey gets up and first blocks the Force lightning by Palpatine with Anakin's saber, and then Force grabs Leia's and makes an X, where she easily deflects the power back at Palpatine, instantly killing him, where he disintegrates into thin air. Rey actually becomes the chosen one in this moment and is said to temporarily die, where Ben Solo crawls out of the pit and makes his way over to her and transfers his life force into Rey, where Ben Solo gives his life force for her and gives his life for Rey, where he dies as they kiss. Rey now needs to escape the collapsing throne room as she sprints her way out of that location, where the scene is said to actually appear very much like a Tomb Raider movie. Eventually, Rey makes her way to the world of Tatooine, where she calls herself Rey Skywalker, where there is no sign of Ben Solo's Force Ghost at the end of the film. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, the very beginning, as I stated, confirms the very ending of Episode 9. So, like I've said before in the past, this movie is going to have everything to do with Rey, and is also going to have a very important moment for Ben Solo. Now, there's no denying that a lot of you out there, a lot of you guys and girls, will like the scene in which Ben Solo transfers his life force to Rey, giving up his own life for Rey as they kiss. And as J.J. Abrams stated in that interview today, that there will be a kiss in this movie, if not more than one kiss scenes in The Rise of Skywalker. And that also lines directly up with this. It's not just that, though. It's the Swedish movie theater chain that really spoiled something related to The Rise of Skywalker and how it does match with the leaks, like I said earlier, is that they warn, children that go ahead and see this movie that there are going to be intimidating moments at the very end of Episode 9, where there is a scary man, which obviously translates to Palpatine, that sucks the life force out of people. Obviously that refers to both Rey and Kylo Ren, right? So, the ending leaks, they are true, matches directly up with everything here, with what J.J. Abrams said, with the kiss sequence, and with what the Swedish movie theater chain said about the Life Force segment, and yes, Ben Solo falls into a bottomless pit. That is going to happen. It is a fake-out death in the moment, where he eventually crawls out of the pit and transfers his life force over to Rey. It's almost like a Disney prince and princess moment, to me at least. I'm kind of getting Beauty and the Beast vibes, sorta, in that moment, where... So it's pretty obvious that this is Disney's, prince and princess moment. In fact, I don't know if you guys have been reading the canon lore and stuff like that under Disney, but there was a time in which Ben Solo was referred to as the Prince of Alderaan. And that was a very interesting take on things in the new canon by Disney. So, with that being said, guys, like I say, the very ending of this movie, it's going to be a back-and-forth scenario. Basically, the back-and-forth scenario, as in every single Star Wars movie, you have a final battle, and you have it cut to the actual battle between the other allies. Great example. The Battle of Endor, right? You have the battle in space, you have the battle on the actual Forest Moon, and then it cuts back over to the fight between Vader, Luke, and Palpatine. It cuts back and forth, back and forth. Same exact thing applies here, where you have Palpatine, Rey, and Ben Solo fighting, cuts over to the space battle sequence, cuts back over to the space horses invading the Final Order on one of the Star Destroyers. That, I think, is going to be the more ridiculous, absurd moment in The Rise of Skywalker, is that we're going to have space horses actually infiltrating the top of a Star Destroyer. Just think about that. Just think about how ridiculous that sounds. It really does sound crazy to me, if I really have to put it out there. But moving on forward, guys, like I say, there are elements in this that I think fans are going to like. My only problem with this, alright, is that I've actually been very open with my feelings about the whole Reylo thing, quote-unquote, and even JJ said that a kiss can mean many different things. Is it romantic? Is it a kiss on the lips? We're still not quite sure about the specifics. We really don't know the specifics, if it's a kiss on the lips or a kiss on the cheek. We've actually talked about the kiss scenes for a number of months now. About 6 months ago, we were talking about these scenes where there were numerous ones shot, in one of which was a kiss on the lips, but that was only one take. But there were a number of takes of ones where Kylo kisses Rey on the cheek as she is dead on the floor. Lines directly up with this. It really does. So, like I said, guys, the Star Wars movies, it wouldn't really be anything without at least some form of romance, I guess, right? Because it is tradition. If you look at Anakin and Padme, you got that whole romance. If you look at Han and Leia, you got that whole romance. But so far in the sequel trilogy, there has been 0 elements of romance. Nothing to do with a romantic moment. If you want to count the awkward kiss between Finn and Rose, I guess you could count that, but even John Boyega said that Finn's character considers Rose just a friend in this movie. So basically, J.J. Abrams just completely undid what Rian Johnson established of trying to create a romance between Finn and Rose and having Finn friend-zone her in this movie. I guess that's to compensate what happens between Rey and Kylo, perhaps, but anyways, I would really like to hear what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments. Everything related to, Rey and Ben Solo and the Swedish movie theater chain, talking about a scary man sucking the life force out of people and how it lines up with Palpatine doing that to Rey and Kylo Ren, and how J.J. Abrams said today on a radio show that there's just more than one kiss in this movie. So that's one thing to think about. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
We hear them once again.